I came to brief Mr. President with the Kaduna State Commissioner in charge of internal security, Samuel Arwan, to give detailed briefing to the President on the attacks on 5 villages in Giwa local government, where a total of 40 people were killed about 3 days ago. The bandits attacked the villages and essentially killed anyone that they could find and burnt down houses and produce. It is one of the worst incidents we've had in the state in quite a while. I think the last time we had anything close to that was in in Kaura, 38 people, and then we had 50 people in Kerawa in Igabi local government. So I went to visit the displaced persons and offered the condolences and sympathies of Mr. President to them, and also announced a series of measures that will be taken to ameliorate their suffering as well as restore order so that they can go back to their homes. I came to the villa to give details to Mr. President and to convey the appreciation of the people for his message, as well as seek for greater intervention of federal security forces to degrade further the activities of bandits in the state. Well, the president was saddened by these attacks and promised to continue to support the Kaduna State government in every way to bring an end to these challenges. He assured me that he'll be holding meeting with the security chiefs in the next few days to further articulate a holistic strategy to address the insecurity in the Northwest in particular. There has been some improvement in Kaduna State, but this incident was quite a shock to us. And in my view, it is because the operations are being carried out piecemeal in states. So when they are attacked in one state, they move to another. So what is required is a comprehensive operation that will cover the 5 states in the Northwest and North Central if this banditry is to be ended. With the declaration of the bandits as terrorists, I think the wherewithal and the legal justification for wiping them out has been granted by our courts. So we hope to see more intense and more coordinated operations across Niger, Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi states, which will bring an end to this banditry. Happily, the federal government has acquired advanced equipment, particularly for the Air Force and the armed forces and the army, from Jordan, from Turkey, from the United States of America and China. So we are expectant that these things will come to an end. You know, and I will start from where Samuel left off. You know, Kaduna State is a huge state. We have 46,000 square kilometers. I joke with my colleagues, the governors of the South, is that Kaduna State alone can fit the 5 states of the South is 2.5 times. It's a huge state. So the fact that there is insecurity in one part of it doesn't mean there is insecurity everywhere. It's not Lagos. It's not a small place at all. Yes, we've had investment summits, and they have been very successful. In the last 5 years, we have attracted nearly $3 billion in investments, in spite of all these stories about insecurity. Because the investors know that large parts of Kaduna State are quite safe. They are as safe as anything. Of course, headlines may give the wrong impression, but the investors are more nuanced in their choices, and they know the efforts we are putting in to make Kaduna State one of the easiest places to do business. So investments still keep coming. Does the insecurity affect the investments? Definitely. If we did not have this insecurity, I'm sure we would have attracted much more than $3 billion in 5-6 years. So, it's something that must be addressed. Yes, we received the security reports. We know a lot about the bandits and where they are and their activities. But you must understand that the intelligence has to be acted upon. And if the security forces are unwilling or unable to reach the locations where these bandits are, then there is nothing we can do as a state government. The federal security forces are not under our direct control. We support them, we work with them, the intelligence is being provided, but the truth of the matter is our military and police are very few in number, and they are overstretched. So you have to understand the limitations that they face before you conclude that they are not doing enough. They are doing a lot. But is it enough? Certainly not. Much more needs to be done. But can they do more with the number of policemen they have, with the number of soldiers? I don't know. We need to ramp up recruitment in the Nigeria police. We need to ramp up recruitment in the Nigerian armed forces. We have too few numbers, and our security forces are overstretched. They are operating in several states, about 32, 33 states the last time we checked. And how many are they? So we must understand the constraint that they face and sympathize with them. But with the acquisition of more advanced equipment from the countries that I mentioned, Jordan, China, Turkey, and the United States, we expect that the kinetic capabilities of our armed forces will be greatly improved. So we hope to see the end of this insecurity. Yes, there was a problem. Even if you know where the bandits are, you don't want to go and bomb all of them because they may have civilians in custody. You may have collateral damage that you may not want to handle, okay? And without the declaration of bandits as terrorists, it might even be referred to as abuse of their human rights, okay? I know it may sound funny because in this world today, criminals have more human rights than innocent people. When you kill criminals, people will start shouting that they have human rights. They forget that the people that they are killing also have rights. But this is the world we live in. But with the recent declaration by the Federal High Court that these bandits, by whatever description, are terrorists, opens the way to, fight them without limits. So no one will be dragged to International Criminal Court because you've killed, you've bombed bandits now. Okay, so the military and the police are now more strengthened to fight them more aggressively. But until that was done, it was a major problem. It was a major restraint on the capacity of the military to do what they need to do. But now I think the coast is clear, and I'm quite confident you see major improvements in the attacks against these bandits. As you know, Kaduna State Government has always maintained the position that there is nothing like a repentant bandit. We don't believe in negotiation with bandits. We believe that the only repentant bandit is a dead one. When he's in the grave, I agree he has repented because he has gone to God. God will deal with him. I will accept that repentance. But any bandit that is alive cannot be repentant. Our position is kill them all. Let them go and repent to God, not to the government of Nigeria or Kaduna State. Thank you. Look, they are bandits. If you want to call them terrorists, you can call them terrorists. But we don't want them to be confused with the terrorists that we know, the Boko Haram. IPOB has been declared terrorists. We don't call them terrorists, we call them IPOB, okay? So this is, the nomenclature doesn't matter. What matters is they are now fair game for the army, for the armed forces. Until then, they were not. People were afraid of what would happen to them if they killed them. Yes, Kaduna State has the largest concentration of military institutions, but what you don't realize also is that most of the military institutions are training institutions. They are not fighting institutions. Only one division, Nigerian Army, is a fighting institution in the entire proliferation of military institutions. The Air Force Training Command is for training, NDA is training, Jaji is training, you know, Kachia, Navy is training, okay? And training institutions do not have fighting forces. They only have enough security for their facilities. They don't have fighting forces, they just train. So the fact that there are many military institutions in Kaduna does not give it any bigger advantage in terms of having fighting forces than, say, 2nd Division in Ibadan or 3rd Armored Division in Jos. You know, we have the 1st Division, 1st Mechanized Division, which covers several states, but not enough fighting forces. It's a training center. It's a center of training the military rather than concentration of fighting forces. They are declared. Once you say bandits, banditry of whatever description have been designated terrorists, that's it. That gives the military the power to do what they do. What we call them is not important. What they are called does not matter. It is the legal status of being declared terrorists that matters. Pardon? Yeah. The legal status is that they have been declared terrorists, but which terrorists? There are many terrorists in Nigeria. Okay? Boko Haram are terrorists. Ansaru are terrorists. Maybe you've never heard of Ansaru. Pardon? Which terrorists are who? I don't understand your question. Yes. 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 The ones that we have in Kaduna are bandits that have now been declared terrorists. These are people that rob, they kill, they kidnap for ransom. What do you want to call them? What do you want to call them?
Your Excellency, I'm asking this question because what you said.
Yeah.
Declaration of the group as terrorists.
Yes.
Give the way we have for the military.
Yes. Yes. But what kind of terrorists, what group of terrorists are they? Are they IPOB, are they Boko Haram or what? I'm saying that we call them bandits to differentiate them from the rest, but they are terrorists. You can choose any name you want to give them, but as a government, I have to call them a name that everyone understands. If I call them Mohammed or Edward in Kaduna, nobody will understand what I'm talking about. It's a method of communication. I have said the legal status is that once they are declared terrorists, by whatever name, they are terrorists. But they have to have a name that everyone can relate to, can understand, and not confuse them with Boko Haram or Ansaru or IPOB. Do you understand? Well, thank you. Yes, we have. Look, what we have tried to do in Kaduna is really to catch up. Kaduna was the capital of the northern region, so it had basic infrastructure right from the 60s. But what has happened was that since Kaduna gave birth to all the 6 states in the north that are now 18 states, plus FCT, because they were all administered from Kaduna at one point, other states have grown in their infrastructure provision and overtaken Kaduna. And when we ran for office and said we will make Kaduna great again, our objective was to make Kaduna that state where every Nigerian felt comfortable and retired to. You know, military, politicians, you know, that's why there was a time they were referring to Kaduna Mafia, because all the big retired men in Nigeria and women went back to Kaduna to retire. We lost that over time because our infrastructure has not been expanded. The city has expanded beyond its limits. There was no proper planning and so on. So what we've been trying to do is just to, you know, expand the roads, dualize many of them, and, you know, create new districts. And we are encouraging people to move to Kaduna. We are allocating land more easily and so on and so forth. People have asked us, where did you get the money to do these projects? We've been prudent. We've been saving our money. We've not been wasting our money on recurrent expenditure. Typically, in a given year, 70% of our budget goes towards capital expenditure. We also negotiate very good prices with contractors, and we don't expect contractors to give us any kickbacks or whatever. So we do get good prices from them. And we've also utilized the loans and grants that have been facilitated by the federal government, you know, to put in these areas. And our infrastructure development is not limited to Kaduna City alone, but also in Zaria, as well as Kafanchan, which are our 3 major towns that have 60 to 70% of the population of the state. So Mr. President has been invited to come and commission some of our projects, and I've just been informed that he will come sometime in January. He will spend 2 to 3 days in Kaduna, commissioning projects in Kafanchan, Kaduna, and Zaria. And we're really looking forward to him coming and to make him proud. As you know, the President is a Kaduna-based citizen. He's originally from Kaduna State, but he spent most of his life in Kaduna and is retiring to Kaduna. So we hope that he will be happy with what you have done, and he will be proud of what you have done as an APC government. And we appreciate all the support that he has given us to enable us to do this. I think you wait until the President comes back, then you ask him for his impression. But we have really worked hard not to let the President down, not to let our party down, and not let those that voted us into office down.
Thank you. Thank you. As part of the measures taken by Kaduna State Government to ensure that the internally displaced persons from these communities return to their villages is the government has directed the State Emergency Management Agency to carry out a thorough assessment and to also provide relief materials in view of the fact that they have been forced out of their villages. Secondly, in order to ensure that they go back to their communities without hitches, as we speak, the military, the police, and other security forces, as of this moment, are carrying out aggressive fighting operation in this location. Now, if I will come back to your question, where you are asking, why is it that these armed bandits are tormenting northwestern part of the country? What I need you to understand is this. This is a problem that is very complex. This is a problem that have developed over time. What we are witnessing today is an accumulated problems that were left unattended. The problem metamorphosed to this situation. But what are we doing? On the side of Kaduna State Government, We are partnering with federal security forces. We have also set up what we call Kaduna State Vigilance Service. It is our own state response to these issues. We have also increased the capacity of human intelligence gathering across the flashpoint so that we can be able to have advanced information. But there is something that is very important. What is important is recourse to the law. Since 2015, when the administration came on board, we've made our position very clear that if herdsmen in the course of grazing come under attack or they experience one problem or the other, what we expect them to do is to report to security agencies, is to allow security agencies to manage the situation. The same thing on the other hand, if communities come under attack, what we will want them to do is to equally recourse to the law. Because by the time all those that are involved in this conflict don't recourse to the law, you realize that the problem will become very complex. There will be attacks and counter-attacks, and managing the problem will be very difficult. And we are saying this so as to avoid generalization and stereotype. What is important is criminals should be treated as criminals. By the time you are assessing this banditry with ethnic group or religion, you realize that you are providing a cover, you are providing a shield to these criminals. But what you should know is fighting banditry must be holistic. Everyone must be involved. States that are facing these problems are coming together like we are experiencing. And like the governor said, it is also important to have a simultaneous operation at a time going on in all across the state with blocking forces all over, so that wherever the bandits are sneak into, you realize that there is a blocking force there. And lastly, it's important for you to know that you are dealing with the vast nature of this country, vast parts of this country. If you look at Niger State, it's over 76,000 square kilometers. Birnin Gwari is twice bigger than Lagos because it is over 6,000 square kilometers. So, yes, that is one local government. So when you look at the 5 states of the Northwest, and also Niger State in central part of the country, you will agree with us that you are dealing with almost a quarter of the total square mass land, with the total land mass of the country. So this is very complex. We really need to come together, and the media is a critical partner in this, because the correct narrative must be told. The correct thing must be said. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.